How you doing? It's Peter from the Saltwater Edge, and we're at the Stock the Box. It's an event we did years ago in this room in 2006. And I looked at the roster of the past. Bob Popovich has been here, Steve Farrar, Jack Gartside, Rich Murphy, Kenny Abrams, Ray Bondero, Dave Scope, just a crew. And now today we got Blane Chocklett, Ben Wally, Jason Taylor, and Chris Kokorda, a whole bunch. And you'll meet some of them as we walk around the room today. Think about coming next year.
Class is crab, really good all-purpose crab.
Show me one of them, would you?
Yeah, my version of the merkin.
Oh yeah,
right here. It's I call it the Firkin merkin because it's got the rabbit fur claws, give a little bit bigger profile. Very good all-around fly for not only for sight fishing but for blind fishing.
Yeah, and the jig hook, is that new? Are you added to this fly? Because the jig hooks are pretty recent in a lot of cases, or have you always fished it with a jig hook?
So as far as my purposes, I've always tied them on jig hooks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
the fly companies are making them now, and I didn't know if that was it, or you could get them other places.
A long time ago,
yeah.
You didn't see the jig hooks very often, but probably 6 years I've been tying them on jig hooks exclusively.
Very cool. Do you do anything to keep the rabbit spread?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of Estaz ball right there.
Right, so like just to force it apart, right? Because it's going to collapse when you strip.
If you look real close, they're also stiffened with a little bit of UV flex resin.
There you go.
And that will also prevent fouling and keep them splayed out the right way.
A couple pro tips. Yeah, thanks, buddy. So Peter here, and I'm with Captain Casey Allen. He's here at Stock the Box. He's teaching a couple classes. He is, fair to say, known for tying the Albie whore, and I think it's one of the most effective Albie flies, and I've seen various sizes and colors. And I mean, I'm just curious for you, when you tie, I don't know how many it is a year, but what do you see for colors that are the most popular?
So I would say that the most popular one I think is pink.
Yeah. So like this one.
Yeah, and I've always been a fan of the tan one because you look at it and you see.
I feel you.
Yeah, and I mean it does the best job of imitating the smaller bay anchovies. Yeah. But the pink one, it's still in that, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's in that red spectrum that the bay anchovies is sort of in.
Yeah.
It's got that something extra that seems to draw them in.
I think in a lot of ways this is a pretty suggestive pattern too. It could be a small squid.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I had that conversation earlier with somebody. If you just remove the eyes, you could have just a generic, pattern.
Shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated. So another thing that I do a lot. So erratic.
How you doing? It's Peter again. I'm with Captain Peter Douma from Long Island. I invited him up here because I've watched the stuff on Instagram and I've seen plenty of his patterns. The one I'm really excited about, I've always liked, is this Albie slider. But it came to be that he ties a tremendous squid as well. So it's like, come for the slider, stay for the squid. This has got a little, holy shit. This has got, what's that? It's not a split ring, but how'd you do this?
It's just a shank.
Okay.
Dubbing bump on there just to kind of flare out.
Flare it out, and do you leave it there for that, or do you add more to it?
You could, I guess, but I just leave it there just to hold that bump.
Got it. You got an awesome selection of colors, all pretty squiddy. They
They
take a while though, right?
They do. I don't know how much the color really matters in the real world, but you can have a whole variety of them. It's kind of fun to tie.
Yep. Do you have good squid, action at Montauk?
So it's not a very prolonged squid fight. Early May, we'll get them. Be really good when it's over.
Yeah.
We had them come back this year in November. Didn't translate to great fishing necessarily, but we do have them.
And then tell us a little bit about the Albie slider. So I said that's the one that caught my attention back in the day.
Yeah, so about 7 or 8 years ago, our bite in Montauk, it's very good now, but it used to be like unbelievable. But there'd be times we would get really picky, and a lot of times they're on very small bay anchovies,
right?
Less than an inch. and the only thing that would work was like Albie snag, sluggo type of thing. So I kind of made that kind of as a variation of a couple of things that it doesn't look all like an Albie snag, but it has similar action where it's kind of erratic. It doesn't necessarily float like a cork; it sits just below the surface.
Nice.
When it comes up, it skips. It doesn't do everything.
That's speedy looking things.
Yeah, it's not very predictable,
Yep.
but it just makes enough attention where when they start to get really funny,
like you could certainly throw it all day. It's not like
Yeah,
it's too big.
doesn't
Like
weigh
most
anything.
popper things
doesn't hold any water.
they get intimidating that way.
It works really well in the blind or
Yeah.
casting right at them.
Yep. And it's where the colors are basically white, pink, chartreuse, and this is
Yeah, I mean,
some
most-
kind of peach or something.
Mostly I really just fit light pink color, but once in a while the
Light
burnt
pink,
orange
this guy?
color. Yeah, that's my number one. White and tan
Very
always
nice.
works. Burnt orange works.
And this is one of those howitzer heads turned around, right?
Yeah, the double barrel pop.
Yeah, it's double
Unfortunately,
barrel.
They don't make that head anymore. In that size. So I have a stockpile of them, but playing with different things right now to try to come up
Trying
with
to
a
keep up.
place.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I want to thank you a bunch for coming up to stock the
Thanks
box
for
this
inviting
year.
me.
You betcha.